Hello and good evening. Welcome to the UBC News Tonight, this 4th day of February 2021. Can you believe it's already February? My name is Wadulo Mark, and I will be later joined by Elizabeth Nakakuni on sign language. Without further ado, let's take a look into our top stories. Now, in our top story tonight, the International Criminal Court has convicted Dominic Ongwen, a former commander of the Lord Resistance Army, on 61 accounts of war crimes and crimes against humanity that he was charged with. Presiding Judge Bertram Smith revealed that based on the evidence before court, there was no ground excluding Dominic Ongwen's criminal responsibility in his guilt, and his guilt was established beyond any reasonable doubt. Now, our senior reporter Henry Okurut Samuel Senano followed the proceedings on the verdicts and filed this report.
The Chamber has therefore convicted Dominic Ongwen of a total of 61 crimes, compromising both crimes against humanity and war crimes. To try to sum up in a few words the lengthy and technical verdict rendered by the Chamber, Dominic Ongwen has been found guilty beyond reasonable doubt of a number of crimes committed in the context of the four specified attacks on the IDP camps of Pajule, Odek, Lukodi and Abok. Attacks against the civilian population, murder, attempted murder, torture, enslavement, outrages upon personal dignity, pillaging, destruction of property, and persecution. Secondly, a number of sexual and gender-based crimes he committed against 7 women, whose names and individual stories are specified in the judgment, who were abducted and placed into his household, forced marriage, torture, rape, sexual slavery, enslavement, forced pregnancy, and outrages upon personal dignity. Thirdly, a number of further sexual and gender-based crimes he committed against girls and women within the Senior Brigade. Forced marriage, torture, rape, sexual slavery, and enslavement. And lastly, the war crime of conscripting children under the age of 15 into the Senior Brigade and using them to participate actively in hostilities. As I said, the written judgment containing the full and reasoned statement of the Chamber's findings and conclusions, and which I repeat remains the only authoritative document in this regard, has been issued by the Chamber this morning and will be notified shortly. In due course, the Chamber will impose on Dominic Ongwen the sentence for the crimes of which he has been convicted. For the purposes of determining the appropriate sentence, the Chamber will also consider submissions by the prosecutor, the defense for Mr. Dominic Ongwen, and the legal representatives of the participating victims. A decision in this regard, including as concerns the strict timelines of the proceedings leading to the imposition of the sentence, has also been issued by the Chamber this morning. It will be notified shortly as well. This concludes today's hearing for the delivery in open court of the judgment in the case of the prosecutor versus Dominic Ongwen. Court is adjourned.
All rise.
Finally, justice is served. Dominic Ongwen guilty of 61 counts of war crimes. Ugandans have a lot of enthusiasm as they wait for His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni's address to the nation in a short while. Now, this will be the second time that the President-elect addresses the nation on matters of national importance. Some of the issues they expect him to tackle are the market wrangles affecting vendors, as well as the biting youth unemployment. Let's take a look.
President waffe era omwagalwa w'abangi nga bwe tusobodde okuza ku kisanja kino era tusuubire tulina essuubi ery'amaanyi nti olina okujja kutaasa abantu abanyigirizibwa eri abali obubi.
Bw'obanga oyogera olwaleero oba n'ennaku zo zonna zosigaza n'eziriddako mu maaso ssebo w'ekitiibwa pulezidenti mu kisanja kino nga bw'owazeeko tukusaba oyambe omuntu wa wansi oyingire mu ssente bali ku ddembe obukulembeze obukulembeze obumaze emyaka 2 obutugirewo tufune abakulembeze betukwatagana nabo.
Tusaba omukulembeze gwanga nti afeeyo eri abavubuka kuba be bannansi abenkya alabe nga naffe atusitula.
Tuyambe ragira ddala baminisita n'okusinga ED balabe nti banunula akatale k'owino.
Still again, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, together with the First Lady and Minister of Education and Sports, Honorable Janet Kataha Museveni, yesterday met and held discussions with Ugandan pastors from all parts of the country who paid a courtesy visit to congratulate the president upon his victory. Now, the born-again Pentecostal church leaders were led by Pastor Robert Kayanja of Miracle Center Cathedral, Rubaga. Speaking to the pastors, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni commended the pastors for their principled stand they took to support right against wrong and supporting a continuation of peace in the country. He appealed to the pastors and all other church leaders to join government efforts of addressing the issues of wealth and health of the citizens, saying that it is not correct for them to abandon the people in need.
When you work for the stomach, others who are engaging in production, this is very good for the church. But what we should not forget is that the community itself, because even if you produce as a church, when you have got, because if you take like a sub-county these days have like 40,000 people. 40,000 people. If you divide by 5 for each family, but that now brings us to politics now, to strategy. If all the people wake up and they get involved in production, where shall we sell all those products? This is what we have been. That's what I was explaining in the campaign. You people who talk about tribes and religious sectarianism, you are enemies of Africa. Because if these people wake up and they all produce juice, they all produce milk, they all produce maize, they all produce bananas, where will you sell all this? The internal market is not enough. That's why the NLM has been telling you people, for the sake of your future, Uganda is more important for you than Ankole. Because the milk from Ankole is being consumed by Uganda. When we find Ankole with some prosperity, it is not because of Ankole, it is because of Uganda, because Kampala are the ones who buy the milk. If Kampala was not there, if Uganda, Ankole was alone, they would not be so rich. Now we have seen Busoga, the sugar is too much. Then the Busoga buy the sugar now. They can't buy, they are not enough. They are not enough consumers. So that's why now, ideologically, the NRM always advise, please, you think about Uganda, think about Africa. So that what is not consumed.
Think about Uganda, think about Africa. The words of the president. Now, in more news, the president of the Association of the Mothers Union in Uganda has told President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni and the First Lady Janet Museveni in a meeting held at State House that the lack of information and communication in the different government programs for women in communities has kept women behind. Now, President Museveni and the First Lady met both Muslim and Christian women under the umbrella organization of Mothers Union of Uganda.
President Yoweri Museveni and First Lady Mrs. Janet Museveni have held discussions with the Mothers Union Group and Muslim women leaders at State House in Tebe. Mrs. Janet Museveni, who is also Minister of Education and Sports, thanked the ladies for working voluntarily to mobilize fellow women for development.
These are Mothers Union groups of women from around the country. Maybe they are not representing the whole country, but there are a good number of them, and they came voluntarily. I didn't have to look for them myself. But we also have women from the Muslim group, and they are part of this group today.
Speaking on behalf of the ladies, Mrs. Josephine Kasato, President Mothers Union Namirembe Diocese, congratulated the President on recent re-election into power and government in general for empowering the girl child.
We congratulate Your Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni upon his re-election as the President of the Republic of Uganda. Your victory signifies the confidence we have in the leadership and securing our future. We also convey our sincere gratitude to you, Mama. Mama, we love you so much, and appreciation for the tremendous support towards our mobilization group of mothers, mobilizers from ZAY. We were very happy when you pushed us and said, you go. The Bible tells you you can do that because you are mothers. So that pushed us that far.
The President described to the mothers the 4 principles of NRM, including patriotism, Pan-Africanism, socio-economic transformation, and democracy, while emphasizing the need to prioritize household income.
I have been involved in political, I would want to say socio-economic political work. Those 3 words. This is what I've been doing since the 60s, when I was a young boy. This is because I saw the problems of your people, whom you know. The problem was that they were living in a good land, but they didn't know how to make a good life out of it. And the main problem was of cholera or wucholoka, working only for the stomach, not knowing how to work for the stomach and the pocket. So, and that's what the problem I have is that the experiment I did, people have not, none of the actors have not understood it. If we can eliminate Okoria or Wutowoka, you are going to have stable politics, because Banabo Nibia Bakora, Brav, Wavu, Okodowo Kanabobati, it's just poverty. And it is poverty because nobody has reached them to guide them how to get out of poverty.
I like to tell my friends that for every human being you see walking the land was a woman who carried that person in their womb. Residents of Gulu City in northern Uganda have welcomed the decision of the International Criminal Court on Dominic Ongwen. The former rebel commander of the Lord Resistance Army has been found guilty of 61 counts of war crimes and crimes against humanity. Now, locals in northern Uganda say that such a decision will deter others from committing similar atrocities.
To some other parts of the world, Thursday, 4th February 2021 may have been just like any other ordinary day, but in Uganda, it was historical. Here at Queen Parish, in Laro division of Gulu City, residents patiently waited for the sitting of the International Criminal Court. The Hague-based court was scheduled to make judgment on Dominic Ongwen, a former LRA commander.
Let the court take its action. It should not be interfered with. If they find that he can be put in life imprisonment, that is the decision of the court.
Everyone was anxious. When the wait was no more, both children and adults paid attention in order not to miss a single point. At the end of the day, a decision was taken. Ongwen was found guilty of 61 out of the 70 initial counts of war crimes that he was battling.
Particularly on the attacks against 4 IDP camps in northern Uganda, on the attack of Lukodi, Odek, Pajule, and Abok. And in this attack, the judges found that there are reasonable basis to find that Dominic Ongwen is guilty of enslavement, destruction of properties, burning houses, and so many things in the camps.
The day may be historical, but the case is not yet conclusive. So, what next?
The judges will now wait for the submission from the parties of the proceeding. They will wait for the submission from the office of the prosecutor. They will wait for the submission from the defense, and they will wait for the submission from the legal team of the victims. They'll have to submit on their views and their concern, and for which the judges will now come out with a sentencing.
To the locals who had followed the proceedings in silence, it was a step towards aiding justice for victims of LRA atrocities.
This one also teaches us, the people of the whole world, or in Uganda particularly, to know that for sure there is no any human being above the law.
ICC also, they should wake up and take a good, I know that Ongwen is going to be a good example for all the citizens and some other country.
The International Criminal Court issued a warrant of arrest for Dominic Ongwen in 2005, following Uganda's referral of the LRA matter to the court in 2003. He was indicted alongside 4 others, 2 of whom, Okot Odiambo and Rascal Ukwiya, have since been confirmed dead.
Our mandate is to see that justice is delivered.
With Dominic Ongwen now convicted, what message could this send to other rebel fighters who would have loved to seek amnesty and denounce rebel activities? Henry Okrut, UBC.
Very good question to ponder on. What does this mean for other rebel fighters? Will they stay in hiding or will they come out? We do not know, but that's what justice says. Now, Uganda Cancer Institute is set to launch a comprehensive cancer patient navigation program as an effective intervention to eliminate barriers patients face to accessing timely cancer screening, diagnosis, treatment, and supportive care. Now, this was revealed during the exclusive interview with the Executive Director of Uganda Cancer Institute, Dr. Jackson, at the commemoration of World Cancer Day. Now, Uganda joins the rest of the world to commemorate World Cancer Day with the theme of the day being I Am and I Will, indicating the extraordinary spirit and strength of the cancer community around the world throughout this pandemic.
COVID-19 has impacted cancer control globally, and the response by the cancer community has been extraordinary. Hence, this year's celebrations are focusing more on the collective efforts on the long-term challenges that the cancer possesses to every individual in the country.
It is very easy to forget about cancer in the midst of all the other problems that we are facing, be it malaria, HIV, and the other communicable diseases. So this World Cancer Day commemoration is very important. And the good thing is that it's not just a day. The whole of the month of February is World Cancer Month. And out of that, we have 2 days which are significant. We have today, the 4th, which is the World Cancer Day, and then we have the 15th, which is the World Childhood Cancer Day.
Cancer Institute is set to launch a comprehensive cancer patient navigation program as effective navigation to eliminate barriers patients face to access timely cancer screening, diagnosis, treatment, and supportive care. The program will focus on the delivery of clinical navigation, which is a provision of education and resources to patients and caregivers for better decision-making and adherence to treatment.
This clinical navigator or the experienced nurse will sit with this patient so that the patient explores all the questions with the patient. And at the end of it all, they are acting within the same care setting with the rest of the team. That is the first part. The second part, when a patient is going to treatment, this person will sit with the patient to make the patient explore all those that takes to go through treatment successfully, including knowing the treatment, how long it will take, what exactly the side effect of treatment, all those aspects. What do I eat? What do I do? So some of this is going to happen within the care setting. It's not separate. It's integrated into the care of patients in UCI.
The Executive Director of Uganda Cancer Institute, Dr. Jackson Oriem, applauded the government for the continued support in fighting cancer in the country by setting up regional cancer centers in areas of Gulu, Arua, Mbale and Mbarara to enable extension of services to masses.
The next question that is going to come is now, why don't we move to the districts and then from the district community? I think that is really the progression that we should be looking at, and I'm very glad to say that we are actually moving in that direction, given the question that you had about the National Cancer Plan.
World Cancer Day aims to save millions of preventive deaths each year by raising awareness and education about cancer and pressing governments and individuals across the world to take action against the disease. Zahara Abigaba, UBC.
And that takes us for a short break. When we return, we'll be back with business news, so please stay tuned.
Sigala nga uyinza ku network ya 4G esingira ddala mu Uganda obudde bwonna woli ng'okozesa Airtel 4G Pocket MiFi ku shillings emitwalo 12 mu 13 ejjirako GB 15 ez'obwereere okumala omwezi mulamba. Osobola n'okuyunga ku bannabala 10 omulundi gumu. Nyiga *755* 9# okufuna GB 15 ez'obwereere. Awo nno olyoka owangalira ku internet. Chali edduuka lya Airtel lyonna erikuli okumpi ogyefunire leero. Airtel, the smartphone network, erungamizibwa Uganda Communications Commission.
It's no secret that ICT makes learning easy.
The strides made in our field could not be possible without it.
And now we can watch our favorite show.
My radio is my best friend.
UCC provides an enabling regulatory environment and policy guidance for healthy competition. We also facilitate ease of doing business in the communications sector through licensing, standardization, spectrum management, tariff regulation, rural communication development, and consumer empowerment. An informed consumer is an empowered consumer. UCC supports local content and innovations. Driving the development of a robust communication sector in Uganda is Uganda Communications Commission.
The day the world stopped was the day we found where to go. From now on, we are not going to leave anything on our plates, because we've learned to savor the moments that were always there, and they never tasted this good.
Your safety while using electricity starts with having a certified technician to wire your premises. Do not use Camille.
Fuck it. Chisaka, now that the wiring is complete, how do I get power?
No. I'll get you power in my own way. And you don't even have to worry about the bills. I'll bring them myself. Is your neighbor there?
She went to work.
Does she have power?
Yes, she has.
If your neighbor has power, you have power. Desist from illegal connections because they are not only dangerous, but could lead to prosecution and death.
Chisaka, what is this? Oh my God, I'm from Umeme.
I did not say Umeme. I am from Umeme. At Umeme, your safety is our top priority. Report illegal practices to Umeme when you detect them. Download the Umeme app for other services. Stay alert, stay safe, save lives. Umeme, powering Uganda.
How are you? Tell me, how do you do? We're here to show some appreciation for the things you do. Sent you for today, and they sent you for tomorrow. Sent you for every time and everywhere you go. We love you so, and we enjoy life with you. We are happy, happy, happy to know that we will go with you. That's why we say thank you, thank you, thank you, yeah. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you for choosing MTN. Use MTN mobile money, bundles or other services to get Thank You points. The more you use, the more Thank You points you get. We look forward to many more years together. Thank you. School doesn't tolerate violence against children.
Because a good school equals a better life.
Raising voices.
We can't tolerate sexual harassment.
Sexual harassment is unacceptable in our school.
Because a good school equals a better life.
Raising voices.
Welcome back. You're still watching the UBC News Tonight. I'm broadcasting live from Nile Avenue. Also on YouTube under the name tag UBC TV Uganda. We're now in the world of business. Multiple customers expressed unpleasant sentiments towards Safeboda's updated terms and policies on using the application, saying that they undermine the core values that the business is built on. Now established in 2014, however, Safeboda has grown to revolutionize the border transport sector, introducing trust between riders and customers while depending on ICT to support its core business model. Now, I had a chance to talk to a number of stakeholders in the industry and filed this report.
I trust Safeboda for the time I've used it, mainly because of the accountability bit of it.
Safeboda updated the terms of use along with their updated ride application on 31st December 2020.
The terms and use, the terms and the conditions of UC is of course a legal document and is a standard practice, but then the services that we offer to our people, the fact that we are here and in our DNA, we really practice what we preach.
In the previous weeks, customers have taken to social media their concern, wondering whether the company still stands by the values of safety that they promise.
The terms of use have always been there, I think actually since 2017, and it's just a standard document. It's just a precaution that every company has to take, but it doesn't change the fact that we are still here to serve, and we care so much about the safety of our customers, and we care so much about the community of our drivers. People have always been using Safeboda. The best thing I can say for you is try it today and let us know if anything has changed.
We interacted with Stephen, who has been under Safeboda for 2 years and feels the current business model has left them at the mercy of some bad customers, and says most of the Safeboda riders now earn a thin profit margin compared to the independent riders.
Kati ne tutuuka ekiseera abavuga abantu nga 25 nga bakuwa bonus wa mitwalo emeka esatu nga ne bwemba z'omulimu gwa nusu 500 nga sifaayo nnyo lwa nsonga amanyi bonasi wange bwe mpaza abantu 10 njafuna yakanaana oshageera kalaye batuuka ekiseera bonus ne bakola ki ne bamujjako.
The bonuses are basically like a gift. It's like a gift hamper from Safeboda. And the bonuses are never static. It's always something that is played around with, right? So what has happened is that a lot of our drivers are very interested in the bonuses, and we appreciate them. And of course, the bonuses has become a very big motivator for many of them to actually work more harder because they know I'm going to be able to achieve extra.
Between 2016 and 2017, when the company had over 1,000 riders, it consulted its riders on what commission rate for each trip should be taken by Safeboda.
So we actually settled for 15, but the agreement was you first put it at, you grow it slowly over a period of time. And of course, over a period of time, at the time when we were having this session, I think we had around 3,000, 5,000 drivers. But then the community has now grown to like close to over 20,000. And now the commission has also grown from 5 to 10 to now 15.
Banyigiriza nnyo ffe abavuzi okusinga betuvuga. N'ovuga omulimu nga gwandikuwadde 10,400. Nagamba butuufu gwanusu 2,200, 2,250. Ate nga bagujjako pasenti nnene. N'ovuga omuntu ku 2,200 ne bajjako 15%. Ng'osanga piki gye wakalakasi wafugidde nusu 1,750.
Due to the high cost of doing business, like training the riders' road safety skills and providing road compliance products, Ricky Thompson notes that for his business to survive, government ought to avail more support to businesses like his.
One of the things that we keep advocating for is a direct move. We really think that government could even do better in making sure that there is a direct investment allocation or direct investment attraction platform that actually allows people to understand the space of technology to directly invest. Because locally it's actually very difficult right now to get local investors to invest in technology.
Other stakeholders also have their expectations from the ride-hailing service.
Safeboda guys are different. They're not ordinary border guys. You get. And because of that, they've won my trust. And regardless of what happens, I still find myself using Safeboda over and over again. I feel like before decisions are made, let all stakeholders be involved. Even as customers, we are stakeholders in this. In case there's any challenge, let us be involved.
Bewa 15% ne commission eri eba customer ze batuwa zongerweko manati bwebanga app ya 2,250 egenze ku 10 meka ku 10 mandi wojja ko 15% nange nyina wenkola ki wenfuniramu.
There are more than 1 million borders in operation in Uganda, but more than half of them are not registered. Safeboda has grown its community to over 20,000 registered riders, transporting hundreds of thousands of customers daily in Kampala and Wakiso districts. For UBC News, Wadulo Makanold in Kampala.
Yes, the revolutionization of transport. Safeboda has done a tremendous job, so we can't wait to see what new things they have for us. Otherwise, let's say good night. This is it for this time's bulletin. Up next is a weather forecast with Semper Alex. See you then.
Brought to you by
At Umeme, your safety is our top priority. Report illegal practices to Umeme when you detect them. Download the Umeme app for other services. Stay alert, stay safe, save lives. Umeme, powering Uganda.
First of all, I congratulate you for going through the elections, and I thank everybody who worked to make our vast electoral exercise succeed. On Saturday, on Tarehe Sita of our army, I will make a longer statement on the elections and the issues involved. Tonight, I will just confine myself to two issues: the reopening of the schools and the corona situation. You remember we closed the schools on the 20th of March 2020. I announced that closure on the 18th, and it was effected on the 20th. That action involved sending home 15 million learners. That was a very wise decision. Up to now, I have not heard that any of the 15 million learners died. I have not heard. If anybody has died, I have not heard about it. You can therefore see that this was a good decision. Although some people are trying to confuse us to play around with fire, which we refused. After many months of closure and after careful analysis, we decided